Hey, this is CrossFitTracking.com for a general review of the Garmin Venu that came out about a month ago. You can see the dim always on, and then the full screen, so you get the full visual color, multicolors. Overall, I have found this to be an excellent watch for Garmin's first jump into the pool of AMOLED screens. It has all the basic functions you would normally see in the way that Garmin approaches sort of how you move between fields and widgets and how you track workouts, things like that. But there's some new features that I like, as well as just the fact that it has a great screen and the fact that they've handled always on functionally and effectively is great. So Polar Ignite, I've spoken a lot about. I really do like that watch because it's an excellent sports tracker with also a good screen, handles that okay. But this one has been fantastic because the always on is great. There's a limited number of watch faces that handle always on because Garmin wrote into the development that you have to have a certain number of pixels being used, and those things have to move so there's not a burn in on the AMOLED. So there's not as many watch faces available, but that's gonna, that'll change over the next 3 months. But the always on has worked well. The wrist gesture has worked well to make the full watch appear, and the notifications work well. So those pop up automatically, even in the always on dimmed setting. Notification will pop up and it'll sit there, so you don't have to lift your wrist to see why it buzzed. You'll just be able to see it, which I think is great. Everybody should do that. There should not be like this forced action to be able to see a notification if you've told your device that you want to see notifications. But that has worked really well, and the screen is just, it's just gorgeous as far as the different watch faces you can offer. I didn't like any of the Garmin built-in screens very much, and I thought the animated screens are kind of stupid and they just burn battery life, and they're not that cool. But the other screens you can get, or other watch faces you can get, have been great. Works well with Connect IQ, obviously. As far as the widgets go, it has, all the same widgets you may be familiar with in the Garmin ecosystem, but I just like that they've gotten health stats summarized, and then they've got my day summarized. So that's what I usually have. First and second is health stats, which does heart rate, stress, body battery, pulse ox, and breathing. It does, and I'll get to that in a second. So the my day, it does, you can track stairs with this. It's got an barometric altimeter, so it'll track your stairs, and that helps with the elevation if you're doing workouts of different kinds. But the two new features with as far as widgets go is the hydration and the respiration. So hydration is very simple. It's just like Fitbit's had for a million years, is that you can track how many water, glass of water you've had. Now, mostly in Fitbit, you had to do it in the app, and I think in the actually in the new Versa 2, you can enter it directly. This has it directly built in, so it's not offered in all. You can add hydration to Garmin Connect, but it doesn't automatically appear as a widget in most of Garmin's devices now. But the VivoActive 4 and the Venu have it, and I like it. I just put it on the back side, so at the end of the widget line, so I scroll down and I enter the cups. It's kind of silly, but it also just helps me stay on track with how much water am I drinking and making sure I keep track of that. The other is respiration. So they figured out a way to calculate the average estimated breaths per minute that you're taking, which I think is great because it could tie into health, but it doesn't really do anything now. I don't really feel like it's adding to anything, and that I'll get into the sleep tracking that I'll share about in a second. I love the body battery. So the resource level internally is estimated off how much stress you're under throughout a day, as well as how much recovery or lack of stress you had throughout a night's sleep. So you go into sleep, and as long as you're having good sleep, your stress level is low, which is based on heart rate variability, and your body battery will regenerate. And then when you go into your day and your stress level is high, your body battery gets depleted based on how much heart rate variability you have. But I find it to be super useful. One side note before I move on is that there were some flaws in a lot of the initial releases of the Garmin Venu. I think it's got to be a little bit of a situation with the release itself, because the Garmin website still has 5 to 8 weeks until you can actually get one. And I've seen reports of a number of people having different issues with tracking and functional things. This is the second one I've had. This one here has been great. It has tracked everything perfectly. But I know with the original one that I had, it messed up in the workouts. It would shut down, and it wasn't tracking my stress with any, like, compared to any of the other Garmin's I've ever used. So the body battery was screwed up, which is sort of fundamental. I like to track the body battery to see how stressed I am throughout the day, and how to face the next big workout. But everything has been great with this one. Everything's functioned really well. When you think about, general trackers, a lot of people have asked me, well, what about calorie tracking? What about step counting? Is it accurate? I feel like Garmin has done an excellent job compared to the tracking and testing I've done with Fitbit and other devices. I feel like their calories are pretty on point. I feel like their steps are really on point. This one tracks stairs, which is great. Just another way you can sort of evaluate how much effort, but then if you run a stadium stairs, you can see, well, I did 300 stairs today, which is just a neat stat to have. And the stress tracking, I feel like that's right. When times I've been stressed, the stress has been higher on the watch. When I had a really busy day, my battery was depleted really quickly and my stress level showed higher, which is just useful information. So as far as a health and overall tracking and beautiful and quality looking watch, I feel like it has been great. As I share in the CrossFit review, it doesn't track your training effect. So within a workout, how much aerobic and how much anaerobic exertion you put in, it doesn't track that, as well as it doesn't track the training load, like how much work you've been putting on your body over a period of 7 days or 4 weeks. So it doesn't show you what your training load is like, both to see if you're overtraining and gonna burn yourself out, or undertraining and need to push it harder to increase your functional strength. So it's great in the fact that it has all of Garmin's features for the health side, and it has an upgraded heart rate monitor. It's got their most recent sensor, at least, and it has done pretty well. You can see in the website as well as in the CrossFit review that it tracked it okay. So mostly this is focused on CrossFit, but this whole website is, but it tracked the heart rate okay. It did fine on general things like riding a bike or doing an assault bike, and does fine every time you do a run. So the heart rate is great there for just general people working out, and that's all it gives in the output. Obviously with running, it gives you effective things like your cadence and your pace, and you can pair it to a pod and get other things. You can pair it to a pod to do a stationary bike to see your cadence and exertion there. But as far as like an in-depth, really like functional fitness, like you really want to push yourself to grow and expand in your fitness levels, it doesn't do a great job there, because it doesn't do training effect, doesn't do training status, and with that doesn't do Recovery Pro or Recovery Advisor, whatever they call it, where it says, okay, you had this really hard workout, you need to take 24 hours or 18 hours or 36 hours to give your body some time to recover to face the next hard load. So it really is more of a sports watch for the general user, in my opinion. But it does everything well. Music, it has music on there. That's been fine. I use Spotify. It gave me my playlist in Spotify. I can download the specifics just so I have it on the watch, so I don't have to have connectivity, so I can go you listen to it on headphones if I want to. So everything's been great there. So functions as a smartwatch, it's great. Obviously it doesn't compare to the Apple Watch, because the Apple Watch just has it's like a little mini computer that is like a mirror version of the iPhone, so it's not the same there. But one thing it does that none of the other smartwatches seem to effectively do is it has reasonable battery life. So I've used Always On since the beginning. I don't like having to do a hand gesture to see the time. I think that's stupid. And the dimmed mode of the Always On has been great. I just want to see the time, and there's some options in there that you can see time and battery life, or time and maybe one stat like your heart rate or something like that. But I just like being able to see the time. And the other thing it does well is when you get a notification, you don't have to raise your wrist to see the text message or what email you got. You can just sort of see it pop up. I think that is genius. I think every watch out there should have that as an option. Like, don't make me raise my wrist to be able to see what notification. If I told you I want to see notifications, then I want to see notifications regardless of anything else. But what it's doing effectively, besides just all those things, is it's doing it with great battery life. I am working out once a day and, tracking things and checking my stress and getting all these notifications, get a bunch of notifications on it. and it's going through about 30% of battery a day. So that's great. About 3 days, 3 solid days is what I feel like it would get on one battery charge. And the other thing that's a benefit that not a lot of people in reviews talk about is the fact that it recharges faster than most. So most watches are 2 hours to recharge. This will probably go from 0 to 100 in about an hour and 17 minutes. So if you're just using it one day, you can just pop it on the charger for 30 minutes and it'll bring it back to 100 or something like that, whatever the actual calculation would be. So it's easy just to pop it down when you're taking a shower, doing something simple, or sitting to watch TV. Just charge it and it'll be charged and you'll never have a problem. And if you did have a problem, hey, you go 3 days. It's not like it's going to die in, a day and a half like most of the others. So it functions a beautiful screen, all the capabilities of the watch without being tethered to, oh shit, I better recharge it. So that's been great. As far as the workout details, shared all that. One thing that's neat about it is it compared to a chest strap, compared to a bunch of different Garmin products. But you can get your heart rate off of a chest strap very easily, and it pairs to Ant Plus, so you can easily connect it to an Ant Plus heart rate monitor, which are super cheap on eBay, and it gives you, just in my opinion, pretty much just as quality heart rate output as it does with the Bluetooth-based versions. So that sort of covers the main things. The weight and the feel is good. It has a stainless steel bezel, so it gives it a little more hardy weight. I feel like it's a good looking watch. It has a little bit more, a little bit masculine look with just the bezeled edge has divots in it, but just in general, it's a great looking watch, and it feels a lot more quality than the 245, which is an all plastic design, and you feel like it's not going to get as scratched because it doesn't have a plastic bezel. So overall, I feel like it's been great. I feel like I've had a lot of great usage out of it. I wish they would have added the higher quality components, especially at a price tag of $399. I wish they would have added those extra first beat analytics to the watch, and then it would be sort of a perfect device at the right price point. But that's not it for now. But overall, it's an excellent watch. I've had great success. You have to watch and make sure if you get one that you check to see that it's functioning in all those areas correctly, or it looks like it's functioning in those areas correctly, or just return it because I think they're having some manufacturing issues at the moment. But Garmin's done a great job with this first release. That's the Garmin Venu, CrossFitTracking.com. Thanks for listening.